Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week I'm making something, but I don't quite know what it is. See you in a minute. Now, one of the things that's been distracting me for recently, that's something I haven't been doing for a long time much, is railway modelling. Now, I think in the future be putting out a separate sort of, not a separate channel, but a separate set of videos, probably on another day in the week, to deal with more with railway stuff. But at the moment I've still got cycle carts to finish and other stuff to do, so that'll take a back seat. But what I have been doing more is doing a little bit of modelling at night in front of the television in the lounge, and it's not ideal because I'm using a kitchen tray at the moment. So I'm going to attempt to produce something for myself that will be like a modelling tray, but until I actually start and use it, I don't really know what I want to, how I want it to sort of perform, if you like. So I'm going to make something sort of quick and dirty this week, fit it out, see how I get on with it for a week or two. And we'll come back later on with some decent timber and a bit more time and effort and make something better later on. I raided the store down at Men in Sheds the other day. I've got some bits of wood which are out of an old bed. You can see there's where all the slats have been in there, and it's just been, I just ripped it off flat to give me something which will be like a side to a tray. And I've got somewhere some larger stuff. Here it is, which was a cupboard kitchen unit or something that's come in. Again, it's full of holes and things. This doesn't have to be particularly clever, as I say, because at the moment it's only there to stop me getting glue and mess all over and cutting up my kitchen trays that obviously I'll be in big trouble with if I don't sort that properly. I'm just going to cut this down into pieces so that I can make the framework for an edge surround, cut the bottom off flat, and hopefully we can just glue and screw it together at that point and we'll have that done. So it'll be very quick and easy. Effectively it's just making a small tray, which may be of interest for somebody who wants to make a small tray anyway. The other thing I want to do is I've got some sanding sticks that I've been playing with, and I want to try and make those a little bit better than what I've been using at the moment. So we'll probably have a chance to get onto that as well today. So let's make a start, get this cut to length into sections, clean it up a bit, and we'll see if we can't get a tray made. Right, so that's effectively got me a set of kitted parts. It's easy enough. It's 245-degree cuts on a piece of the, what is it, about 1.5, 2 by 45mm by 18, I think these are, 20. And 2 end pieces the same. And they should be just slightly smaller. Because this was rounded over on 2 of the edges anyway, I'm just going to work slightly inside it so it makes it more comfortable, and it means it's not going to catch on the edges of any of the furniture or anything like that. But I think what I'll do is make this up into a frame first and then fit it to that afterwards. And all I'm going to do, I've got a piece of wood in the MFT bench. I'm just going to put piece at right angles, piece flat there, glue those up, and then I can just put the clamps into the bench, and hopefully they will all hold it together once it's all glued up. Don't think I'm going to bother with pins or anything, but we'll just start and clamp that And if we clamp it up right like that, we should end up with something which will go together as a nice square set of sides. That's all held up flat against the bench dogs. So we'll just slacken this off, glue it up, and we will have our frame ready to use. Just use my ever-present coffee stirrers as spreaders. I bought a box of 1,000 of these some 2 or 3 years ago now, and they're ideal for just this sort of thing, shims, packers, all sorts. Now if you were making a tray, you'd obviously need handholds in the end, and you could put those in before you started, but in this instance I want less holes I've got in it the better, to allow stuff to come out all over the furniture, dust and the like, bits of plastic. I'm just putting a little bit of paper underneath each corner so I don't glue it to the bench. It's easier to sand a bit of paper off than it is to get the thing stuck to the bench. Doesn't need a huge amount of clamping pressure, it's just more to keep it square than anything. And then I'll probably just put a clamp on the top edge, because this is tending to push it in at the bottom and spread the things out a bit. So we'll just put another quick clamp across on the top, pulls the joints together nice and tight. Great, we'll give that a couple of hours to get itself set off, and we can carry on with it after that. So while that's drying, let's have a look at these sanding sticks I was talking about, and also I need something to put bits and pieces in rather than have it rattling around on the tray, because it's quite distracting with a lot of noise. So I wanted something to hold my files and things like that, so we'll see if we can have a look at those two things while this is drying off. Now, up until recently I've been using finger sanding boards for sanding on the models, because you can get a nice finish on the paint if there's any inconsistencies by just giving them a clean up with that. But there are a couple of problems, apart from the fact that you've got to pay for something that you don't really, doesn't exactly fit your needs. They're also limited in the amount of abrasive you've got. These are fairly fine, and sometimes I need something that's got a bit more oomph to it. And when I was in our local hobby craft the other day, I found these craft sticks, which are, I think they're about £1.60 something for a pack, and they seem to fit the bill admirably. What I'm going to do is get some various grades of sandpapers. I've got about 5 different grades on rolls here. So I'm going to get some double-sided tape, put onto the boards themselves, and then cut a piece of this to fit. And I think I'll also set up the little laser engraver, so I can pop the stick inside, and I can get it on the handle of the thing. I've done one as a trial, but I've decided that rather than write on it with a felt tip pen that's a bit manky, let's do the job properly. We can put the numbers of the grits on the ends. It's done me a selection of sizes. I've got 100, 120, 180, 240, 320. And once I've got these little label things done, all I'm doing is getting a bit of double-sided tape, which I with a craft knife to size. Just do it under the scrap wood rather than that. I normally just put 2 pieces of that. Trim it to size, and then I'm just pulling one side at a time. Take the covering off the double-sided tape, get a little bit of the sandpaper. This is 240 grit. Just sit that on there, and once again cut it to size, do both sides, and we've got ourselves a sanding stick. These are useful anyway in normal, any joinery stuff, never mind just modelling. And once these are done, you can generally pull the tape off when it gets, the sandpaper off when it gets a bit tired, and either replace the double-sided tape or not, it depends whether it's necessary really. There we are. Clean that up. That's ready to start being used. Now the next thing to do is find somewhere to put it, of course, and for that, let's finish this one off. I think I've got just the thing to solve the problem of what to do with all these bits and pieces on the bench rather than have them rattling around all the time. I've got this little laser cut plywood box that was produced for, it says Mobile Weathering Studio on it. The guy that used to do this was one of our fellow club members, Mick Bonwick, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago, but he used to give us all pointers on how to do weathering and was a sort of an acknowledged expert in the field. And he had these little boxes made up in engraved ply that would clip together to give you a box that all slotted together nicely, and that would fit on the corner of your workbench, if you like. I've had this for a long while and used it occasionally, but not much, but I think I'm going to put that into use in the corner of the tray, only I've been a bit cheeky, and I'm sure he wouldn't have minded, particularly as he's no longer here to take advantage of the advertising. I've put my own logos on it, and I'm just going to assemble it inside out. And that will just slide in over there, and then once you've got it together, it sort of self-supports itself and locks into place so that it doesn't come apart easily while you're using it. That's it, clipped into place there, that's it. So we've now got that which will go in the corner of the tray, and we'll have the bits and pieces in it. I think I need to have some longer sticks for this one, or we'll put something in the bottom of it. Just cut a scrap off-cut of oak that was going in the bin. Well, I did think about making a couple of coasters with it, but let's see if we can pop that in the bottom, get over that height problem. There we go. Right, we'll try that again now. Take 2, yes, that's ideal. So we can drop all of or some of the other sanding sticks in there. And I've got a range in there of different grades that I can see more or less at an instant what I've got. Right, let's have a chance to dry while we've been messing around with sticks and things. Let's get it out of its clamps. Good job we put some paper down because it's a bit of seepage there. Right, so we'll just clean that up. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for what we want to do at the moment. We'll just clean the joints up a bit, and then we can just drill some holes in the top of this to take that, and then I'm just going to screw up from underneath, countersunk screws, and we're good to go. Right, so there we have it. Nothing special, nothing spectacular, but it's just what I need as a development thing to be able to play with for a couple of weeks. As I say, we can keep our tools and our bits and pieces in it, and put our bits of modelling stuff in, files, knives, anything like that that I'll be having on my lap. And I'll just see how I get on with it. It's been rounded off everywhere so that there shouldn't be any sharp edges to catch furniture or anything. And if it's successful, we'll carry on and make it out in something like oak or something decent. But it means at the moment I can adapt it to suit if I find that that's too tall, or I want something that holds that in the corner, or I want a piece of glass on to be able to glue up things dead flat. Anything like that. I can work on that as a development thing over the next few weeks and see how we get on with it. Great, so that's got me the tray done. As I said, it'll just do me as a means to an end, and we'll see later on how we get on with it and if it works, if we need to do anything different on the Mark II version. Hope the video was of interest. Look forward to seeing you next time. We'll be doing something different in the shed. We'll see you then. Bye.